Hi guys, my name is Alisha Lehmann.
Ciao Bianconerino, come stai? Ciao, come stai?
Ciao Bianconeri, come stai?
Alisha Lehmann is delighted with Bayer's success last season. She openly admitted that she was rooting for the club. Bayer, Xabi Alonso last season amazed everyone. This is the only team that has never lost neither in the Bundesliga nor in the German Cup. There were no defeats in the Europa League either, but only until the decisive match, in which the pharmacists were destroyed by Atlanta and personally Ademola Lookman. This does not mean that the magic of Bayer is over. The club continues to perform in the same spirit. They took the Super Cup in a penalty shootout, in trademark style, equalizing the score at the end of the meeting, and have already won in the first round of the Bundesliga, injecting the winning one after a controversial penalty in added time. Of course, a lot of factors came together this past season. We don't downplay the coaching merits of Alonso and his squad, but it's hard not to agree that Bayern fell into their worst crisis in 10 years, while perennial silver medalist Borussia didn't capitalize on the perfect moment and had a weak season as well. Nevertheless, Bayer scored 90 points in the championship. The record is 91, and did not lose a single game. The team has become the very real top club and definitely has every chance of another title. Here are 3 reasons for this outcome of the season. 1. Bayer retained the leaders. The rapid rise of a club to the top is not always a good thing, because it usually means that the team will make a total sellout after the success. Remember at least the champion Leicester. But Bayer went through the whole summer without losses. The main asset of the pharmacists, Florian Wirtz, remained in the team. The young German has already increased his transfer value to 130 million euros, Transfermarkt data, and last season he made 38 goals in 49 games. Add to that a very successful Euro 2024, and you have a ready-made Ballon d'Or contender who only needs a great showing in the Champions League to be recognized. In fact, in any other year, Wirtz could have been poached to a more prestigious team, at least Bayern Munich. But as we know, Munich are counting every penny right now and certainly can't afford such a luxury. The only options are a transfer to an APL club or Real Madrid. But both there and the squads are already complete. By the way, there are rumors that Wirtz has agreed to move to the cream next summer. It would be interesting to see how 5 world-class attacking players would fit on one field. There was also intrigue in the position of Xabi Alonso himself. The Spaniard was being actively wooed to exactly 3 teams: Liverpool to replace Klopp, Bayern instead of Tuchel, and Real Madrid in place of Ancelotti. Bayern coach, it seems, refused. Liverpool found a more suitable coach, and Real, expectedly, did not remove Ancelotti. Thus, Alonso stayed for at least another year. In other positions, it's the same. Not a single starting lineup player left Bayer. Here are all the club's transfers on the way out. Josip Stanisic returned to Bayern. Bayer expectedly did not buy out the Croatian because he suffered a very unpleasant injury and is still recovering. Serdar Azmoun left for Shabab Al-Ali. Not to say that it is a big loss. Timothy Fosu-Mensah became a free agent and has not found a club yet. It's hard to do that when only 10 times a year you get in the matchday roster and don't spend a single minute on the field. Adam Hlozek went to Hoffenheim for 18 million euros. The Czech made 7+5 on the goal plus pass system last season, playing only 1,000 minutes. He mostly came on as a substitute, so he's definitely not a starting player. Bayer also earned 5 million on the resale of the player. He came to the club for 13. And who came to Bayer? Martin Terrier from Rennes for 20 million. The footballer scored 9 goals and gave 7 assists last season, although he often started matches from the bench. In general, this is a reinforcement of the clip, experienced, but not stellar. Januel Belosian from Rennes for 15 million. This is a defender fashionable in modern soccer role, left-handed, who can play both in the center and on the flank of the defense. In general, he is ideal for a center-back in a scheme with 3 defenders. Alex Garcia from Girona for 18 million. It feels like the heist of the century. The player has played almost all the matches in La Liga in the main squad with the captain's armband. He acts in the supporting zone and helps the attack quite well. 3+6 last season. The contract was valid until 2026, so it is very surprising that Garcia was let go so easily and cheap. A combination with Zaka or Palacios in the center would be even more striking and powerful. Garcia would provide both control and pressure. Otherwise, everything remains the same. Grimaldo, Frimpong, Jaka, Palacios, Hoffman, Tapsoba, Incapi, and all in all are still in the team and will continue to play for Bayer. There have been rumors of Taw's move to Bayern, but so far negotiations are going hard. With about a week left until the transfer window closes, it's hard to imagine the club agreeing to part with anyone from the starting lineup. 2. The Bayern factor. Of course, the main contender for the Salad Bowl is always Bayern Munich. But there are a lot of questions about the club, and many are not sure that the team will be able to impose Bayer in the fight for the title. In general, Bayern tried to strengthen in this transfer window. They took João Paulinho from Fulham in the supporting zone, Hiroki Ito from Stuttgart came to the center of defense, Michael Olise from Crystal Palace was signed on the right flank of the attack. But all this does not solve Bayern's global problems. The club has been suffering from an epidemic of injuries for several years in a row. Last season, for example, almost the entire defense was out. Ito seems to have to solve the problem, but he is now in the infirmary. Bayern wanted to sign Tapsoba from Bayer, but it is obvious that he will stay. There are also problems in midfield. Even Leon Goretzka fell out of the lineup last season. Kimmich likes to play in the center, but last year he had to finish on the right flank of the defense. In general, the lack of long-term planning is striking. At first glance it seems that Bayern don't have a clearly defined plan for the next few years. Well, in attack the club has a complete overload. Musiala, Gnabry, Coman, Sane, Muller, Tell, Kane, Irankinda, and now Olise. It is clear that some of them, especially Coman, are often injured, but if all of them are in the squad, it is unclear how to give them all playing minutes and fit them on the pitch. And the main factor that does not speak in favor of Bayern is the figure of Vincent Kompany. No, of course, the Belgian made a great name for himself at Burnley, but in the Championship. In the APL, the club made several signings under the style of Kompany. The club moved away from the simple Bayer runner, which was famous under Deitch, but this strategy did not justify itself. The team went straight back to the Championship, and Vincent Kompany escaped the sinking ship. There's a chance that his style just suits high-class players. All that combinational play and complex tactical moves are hard on a team that has only just climbed out of England's second division. However, if Burnley's departure says anything, it's about Vincent's stubbornness and poor flexibility. We'll see how he performs. We wish him the best, but we doubt his readiness to lead such a big club to victories. 3. Analysts' predictions. The main ones in the field of predictions are the analysts from Opta. They have already loaded their supercomputer before the new season, according to the results of 10,000 simulations in almost half of the cases the champion became. Bayern is also a favorite, but it won the Bundesliga in only 21.7% of simulations. Opta also named the lack of big transfers and the figure of Xabi Alonso as the main factors of such success. The Spaniard, by the way, is third among all Bundesliga coaches in history in terms of points per game, 2.25. Only Guardiola, 2.52, and Flick, 2.45, are cooler. Of course, he's only been at the club for 2 incomplete years, but the achievement is incredible because he achieved it not with Bayern, but with Bayer, which in 2022 was more of a relegation contender than a champion. Last year, by the way, the Opta computer gave Bayer only 0.8% for the championship. Even for the 12th position, the chances were higher, 1.8%. In general, Bayer were expected to be 4th and gave 20.3% for this outcome. In general, to believe the Opta computer or not, choose for yourself. In most cases, analysts' predictions do come true, and the current forecast should be more accurate because the team still has all the leaders and even Xabi Alonso himself. Who else can prevent Bayer? It will definitely not be easy for the pharmacists, and we expect the winless streak to end soon. It has to happen at some point. If Bayer starts to falter, there are teams that can prove themselves, and it's not just Bayern. It could be Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund have changed their coach. Nuri Sahin is now in charge, and have bought powerfully for the upcoming campaign. Serhou Guirassy, Pascal Gross, Waldemar Anton, Jan Coutu, and Maximilian Bayer. Guirassy and Anton are the creators of Stuttgart's success. Coutu was on fire at sensational Girona. Bayer is one of the best young German forwards, and Old Man Gross is probably the most underrated player of recent years. Then there's Leipzig. The club lost Dani Olmo, but they still have a sea of attacking options. For example, Openda scored 24 goals in the previous Bundesliga campaign. Stuttgart is the main loser of the summer and is unlikely to compete for medals. The team lost Ito, Anton, and Guirassy. The club tried to strengthen for the European Cup and signed 13 new players, but they will obviously need time to play. The more interesting it will be to watch. All in all, Bayer look like the main contenders for the title right now. The roster is almost the same, the coach is the same, the rivals have problems. Oh, and the championship magic has not gone anywhere. Bayer continues to pull out matches in the last minutes in the best traditions of Real Madrid. Let's keep watching. This Bundesliga season promises to be particularly interesting.